Hello everybody, my name is Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do something a little bit new and super fun for me. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while and I finally understand the ropes pretty well. So today we are going to be playing Planet Zoo. This is one of my favorite games, I would say, apart from like horror. So yeah. Alright, so let's get right into it. Yes, I'm gonna point out the fact right now that I don't have any makeup on, and yes, I feel like I look like a wet rat. But today is one of my days off apart from my full-time job, so I try to give my eyes and my face a break. So yeah, there's that. So let's jump right into it. So Planet Zoo can be quite slow, so if you're looking for a very fast-paced game, this definitely would not be it, but I do like this because it kind of gets that creative side out. It's, I want to say, kind of comparable to Minecraft, completely different with what you do, but I still think it's a little bit comparable because you kind of build your own landscape and whatnot. So what I like to do is kind of make my own franchise. They have other options like career, which they kind of show you the ropes, which is where I initially learned. But then there's also timed and challenge and sandbox, and then you can see your zoos. I personally haven't done any of those. They just haven't sparked my interest. We're just going to jump into a franchise, but here, since I already started one, I'm just going to hit resume. And then every time you log in, you get some rewards, which is really cool. Okay, cool. So you can see I have a few zoos already, and it'll kind of give you like a little idea on what's going on with them. So, you know, Ashton Zoo, I actually did pretty well, surprisingly. That's how much money I have right now, currently, and how many people are in the zoo, the overall happiness, where it's located, and how many animals, and just your overall rating. Griffin's World is my most recent world, which actually it was pretty bad for a while, and I'm just now getting positive in how much money I have, slowly getting positive results. You can see they're kind of right now. Kate Zoo was okay. I kind of gave up on it pretty quick, and Catland also, I gave up on that pretty quick too. So we're gonna start by just checking out like an almost completed zoo. I usually get about halfway and I get kind of bored of it and feel like there's nothing more to add, and even though that's not true. So you always start with like this entrance over here, and then you slowly expand. So this is what I'm working with now. You can see right away I have like a pretty humongous monorail system going. This is something I just recently figured out how to accomplish kind of successfully. This looks like a whole mess. Ideally, I would like it to go throughout the whole zoo, but I didn't really have plans for it to get really big. I've always struggled with it kind of doing like a full lap around. Only because there's a lot of little details that go into it, like, you know, right off the bat, if you're going to start making animals, you have to kind of have all these facilities for the staff to use. So these are all necessities here. Another main concern is figuring out the spacing, which I'm also not great with. So you would have to figure out how much space the monorail would need. Which is actually more than you would think. So then all of this would have to start a lot later, and I feel like that would be a little bit harder for guests in the beginning to kind of walk all the way down here just for the beginning of the zoo. Kind of really like this one a lot. This is probably the zoo I'm most proud of. So I always start with like these small animals, as you can kind of maintain them really, really well. They breed really quickly, so you can earn money that way by selling the babies and whatnot. And then down the line, you can slowly get vendors. And then actually, here's an inspection report. Not too bad. You can do like a camera feature. So this is my, I think he's a jaguar, a black jaguar. It's not going to show me right now. Look how cute. Do you see that? Oh, I forgot my little raccoon emotes up there. That's okay. Oh my gosh, but he is so cute. But yeah, so we'll cut to it. One last thing I wanted to show is this that I'm really proud of. It doesn't look perfect with the circular display. I wasn't really aiming for perfection here. But what this is a really nice like centerpiece when you first walk in. This is a like walk-through garden that I actually have peacocks freely roaming, which I think is really cool because then the people can kind of like get really up and close and personal. And the bigger you kind of make this walkthrough, not only the more people, but the more peacocks you can have in there, because they do also breed like crazy. So that's one thing I like maintain a lot is since I'm really low in cash, I'll breed, but you have to kind of keep up with that really, really well. So yeah, so this is my most up-to-date zoo that I'm really proud of. I kind of built this monorail system to go around any future animals that I'm going to build. Like I put kind of the bigger animals that would be harder to see from like a far away distance if they're kind of hidden in the back, which I also thought was really cool. And then over here I did just put some zebras. Oh my gosh, so cute. I literally love them. It makes me so happy playing this game. Okay. So yeah, so let's start building our own zoo. Done the desert, grasslands, tropical, temperate, and I haven't done taiga or tundra. Actually, I did do a taiga before. I think I actually got rid of it because it was really bad. I think I'm gonna go for tundra. Let's do Europe. Ooh, what should we name the zoo? I never know what to name it. This is always like a 10-minute conversation. I've been really big on Five Nights at Freddy's recently, so that's like the only name that's coming to my head. So I'm just gonna call it like Freddy Zoo, because why not? The name is like far from important. Actually, this is kind of beautiful. I'm surprised I haven't done this before. Damn! Okay, alright. Okay, so I'll kind of explain everything as I go through it, so I'm not just sitting here with an even longer intro. So first I want to click on the paths, actually, because I want to update this. I don't really like this color. I'm just not vibing with it. So these are all the guest paths. These have the little rails on it, and this is just staff-only paths. So guests won't walk on those. So here I'm just pulling it out, so you can see I made the width a lot smaller. I'm going to make the length a bit longer. That's fine, and then we can kind of go from there. So we'll curve it together and make the width bigger, so why does that still look funky? You know what, I'm not really too concerned. I'm just gonna make a little path like that, and now we want to start with the staff path. These I make pretty thin, usually as thin as I can. So the way I like to do it is like I'll draw it out maybe here. So this doesn't have to be super long, but I will bring it out to here. Staff facilities will have an effect on guests, so keep that in mind. You never want to have something like right off the path, especially if it's something loud like a generator, because the guests will not like it and it'll affect any of the guests walking past it. You only start with I think like 40k, maybe a little bit more now that I've spent some money on the pathways, but yeah, you only have a little bit of money to kind of play with. So let's get into what we actually need. So I'm going to go to facilities. I actually want to go to staff facilities, and here it'll kind of show you like little like different displays. This is if you want to have like a themed zoo. Again, I haven't dabbled in these yet. I think they're really cute, but I'm very bad at like sticking to like themes. especially apart from just staff facilities. So here the first thing is I usually like to go bigger than smaller. Just OCD. I think the vet hospital is one of the biggest. So you can see it kind of just auto connects. I like to leave the end open a little bit in case I need to put anything. Typically that ends up being the generators, but I might have some room over here. Okay, so then the research center, staff room. We don't need a huge staff room, that was a little longer, so we'll kind of put that there. Workshop, we can throw one up here. The first I'm going to put that research. So they got the same. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. You definitely need a trade center. That's how you're going to get all your animals. This is so like off center. And usually I'd say it's not a big deal, but that might actually put at the end here. To kind of flip everything, I'm hitting Z. It might be different on your keyboard, but just keep that in mind. Okay, so this is looking good so far. Yeah, so all you really need is the keeper hut, the vet surgery, our research center, trade center, workshop, staff room, and quarantine. So I guess kind of all of these can be a necessity. The quarantine, so since we're getting pretty close to where the guests will walk in, I'm gonna flip it and have it sit here. So it's right across the way from the vet. Not horrible. And I will kind of block all this off, but guests don't really worry too much about seeing it. It's more like being next to it and having it be a problem. What you could also do is click the little circle, the little face, and that's kind of where it's going to bring everything up. So if you see negative impact on guests, you could see that if they were to walk in this line or these, that they would be negatively impacted by that. So then I'm going to go down to utilities, and then I want to get a transformer. I'm going to place them on this side. I just get worried it's going to impact whatever I put over there, but we'll kind of see how it does. So it's not bad. As long as I kind of like make a little barrier this way, or just don't put anything like here where the guests will be, it'll be fine, which I typically don't do anyways from all of my other layouts. Okay, so perfect. Now we have all the necessities for the staff. So now we don't want to just invite guests when we don't have any animals. So animals are a big thing that we kind of want to start incorporating. I always end up putting them here. I do want to start making something over here instead. So I want to do a little bit of a change. With that being said, you want to make sure that they're still going to receive power. So again, going back to that smiley face, or right now it's a frowny face, but that's okay. You always start off with a frown. You want to go to power, and it'll show you how much power that's going to put out. Same thing with water and temperature. I'm going to start building a little, I call it a circle. It's usually not a circle. This, whatever that is. We don't need to fill all this in because we'll just put the enclosures here and on the outside. Sometimes I'll throw like a little drink stand in there or something. So then we go back to facilities, and we'll go to guest facilities. Actually, scratch that. We'll go to animal exhibits. And then here again, you can kind of see all the different shells and themes and whatnot. I'm just going to stick with the base theme, so you can get this really big one for 13 grand, but I'm only working with 17, and I don't need that many animals to start off with. So as much as that's worth it for the money, it's not worth it right now. So I'm going to start with a small one, and I'm actually just going to put it right here at the front. So we'll just boop. So here you can see they can kind of access it on both sides. If you're like me and are like, well, that little piece doesn't match with this, you can go back into that path and have it clicked and just kind of do something like that. Now that I have my one animal enclosure, I want to figure out what I can put in there. So here we're going to kind of go to exhibit trading. Can't talk today, so sorry. Reset all filters if any are set. And then here you'll see two different ways you can pay. So you can do cash listings or the credits, which is down here. You get these by everything that it says there. If you can't read it, it says you can get earn credits by releasing animals into the wild, selling animals in the marketplace, creating avatars that visit your zoo, logging in daily, and completing community challenges. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of get those, but they are hard to get. I think you only get rewarded like 100 at the max and maybe 20 at the smallest. Typically I aim for cash listings unless it's something that I really want. This usually doesn't play too big of a part though. My biggest thing is the appeal. So right now you want to kind of click appeal, and if you click it again it'll show you the least appealing, but if you click it one more time it'll show you the most appealing. So something that you want to keep in mind is with these little exhibits over here, you kind of can't put the fruit bats in there. They don't work. They need a different kind of enclosure, which is really sad and kind of confusing when you're starting off for them to kind of put it this way. They don't exactly tell you all that. If you do want more information on the animals and where they come from and what kind of necessities they would need, you can just go to zoo, and you can actually go to the side panel here and click this little book with the paw print, and it'll tell you everything about certain animals. Alright, so something that breeds really quickly is like the eastern brown snake or the puff adder. I always like to make sure I get two depending on the price, so I try to get a male and a female, especially when I start off. But they don't have them all together. They'll be kind of like scattered from their appeal and price and whatnot. So let's say we wanted to do a puff adder. I'm actually going to go into species and type puff. It'll come right up. And now that I've hit search, I can see this is the only one. So I'm going to kind of reset and go back to appeal. And now I see the eastern brown. I'm going to see if maybe there's a male and a female of those. Nope, so just two males. Okay, so why don't we start again? And now I'm just going to keep looking. Okay, so a yellow anaconda. Right here I can actually see there's a male and a female. I don't want to grab these two right away. I actually still want to go in here and type it out just to make sure there are no other males or females, because as you can see this one's longevity is not great, and same with the females. So to me, I'm actually probably going to pass on that since it's so low. And I'm just going to try and find something else. Since this one's like so good, I actually might just go ahead and buy this and just get like a young female, because worst case her fertility's still up there, and since I know this guy's gonna live, she'll probably have a good chance at least getting a batch out or so. And this one literally only has 8%. So since she's so cheap, she's only $200, I'm gonna go ahead and just purchase and click on the enclosure, and I'm gonna make sure I get the male and put him in there too. These are the easiest to start off with, because you don't necessarily have to do anything for it, for the most part. The only thing you really have to do is click on the enclosure, and you can see that their welfare is low. That's always going to kind of be the case. So we can click on the layout, and you can see this, surprisingly, I haven't researched yet. Huh. Okay, so this is a good example. So if it's something that I haven't researched yet, that means I want the vet to go ahead and do it. But, oh no, I don't have any vets yet. So we do have to go to our zoo and hire some staff. So let's see, this is the general overview with the little person with the hat. And you do not need all of those people. Do not hire every single one right off the bat. You will literally be in so much debt and not be able to pay anybody, and everybody's going to be really sad, and your zoo's going to suck. So the main people you want to start off with is a caretaker, a keeper, a mechanic, which is really important, and a veterinarian. You do not need a vendor or an educator just yet. If you see on your reports that your education is low, you can add more like billboards and stuff like that, but you do not need an educator because they are not there year round. So I'm going to hit play, and they kind of all drop. So at this point, I guess the zoo is open. People are starting to come in. You want to make sure you hit these little boxes down here too and select the animal that's in there. That's also going to have an effect on your education. Now that these guys have a pretty low welfare, what we can do temporarily is go into the climate and just change that for them. I'm going to push up the speed. So at least now they have the proper temperature and humidity. All of your animals that go in these will need proper temperature, humidity, and lighting along as enrichment. I'm going to go back to zoo, and here we want to go to the vet research. It'll show you all the ones that you haven't yet researched. This is one of the animals that I have that needs to be researched, so my one vet, I'm just going to drag and drop. And now she's in the process of researching it. Every time you kind of complete a new milestone, a new enrichment and lighting source will be unlocked. One main thing we rely on is donations as well. So to access those, you want to go back to facilities, all, and here you can just type donation. I'm just going to put DO because it comes right up. And you're going to click and just kind of place in a general area. I'm going to put one on this side and this side. So here in the bottom left, you can kind of see my money fluctuating a lot. You're probably going to lose money off the bat because not only are you paying the staff members, but you're also providing like resources for the animals. And our ticket prices are probably fairly cheap since we only have one animal for them to view, and their enrichment isn't even all that great yet. So what I like to do now is, since it's just super fluctuating, I will pause it again before I run out of money, and I'll actually add a couple more. Even if I do go into a little bit of debt here, this will not only allow for more donation opportunities and overall happiness, but it'll attract more guests in, which again gives you more donations, and the sooner you can kind of raise those ticket prices. To do this too, I'm just holding Z. I like to make sure there's enough room in the middle for them to walk, so you can see it's not attached. I'll go back to paths, which is in the bottom right. I didn't realize you guys couldn't see the buttons for it until like 5 minutes ago, but then if you just go into path, you can click this, and it kind of just connects them, which is really neat and useful. So here you want to make sure any new path you add, you want to add that education for them, and I'm just going to add one more. Again, making enough room in the middle of the two, trying to keep it close to the other one, so it's not too much bigger of a path, but still enough for them to walk through. Okay, great. So now that I have just about $4,000 left, I want to go back into exhibit trading and reset my filters and take a look at what else there is. So here I see a boa constrictor. I'm going to type that in again and see if there's anything else. Nope, no males. Alright, let's buy this female, the puff adder, and put her in here. I'm gonna hope that they mate. So, I am just now realizing that my mic decided to cut out for a good chunk of the rest of the video. It took quite a while until I realized that it was no longer working. So I'm gonna do everybody a favor and kind of just fast forward through the rest of this. You'll see me just kind of completing the circle with more enclosures, adding animals, what have you. So enjoy this really fast content that was not anticipated for at all. Now is when I realize it wasn't picking up any audio. The moment I realize. But I think I'm gonna leave it at this. It's a short little introduction to our zoo. I think we're doing really well so far. The animals, and people look happy, which you can kind of see as you walk along. You can see all the little enclosures, some of the snakes in there. Now it's starting to rain. Everybody's getting their umbrellas. See the little froggies in there. I don't even know what I put in that one. And there's the Gia monster. So cool to kind of see it like this. I love looking at my zoo as if I'm kind of entering it as a guest. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the day. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you guys have any questions or recommendations on what kind of animals you want to see and put into the zoo, or have any ideas on what I should really do next with it, definitely let me know. But yeah, that's really gonna be it for this video. Thank you everybody who took the time to watch, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!